Hey guys, it's Oberstadt. So I did a concealer video the other day where I discussed all of my concealers and I laid them out like this on the counter, and I did a video showing you all of the different colors that I have. So what I'm going to do today is go over correctors and talk about what I use them for and things like that. And I will actually do a breakdown on my actual face on what works better in some areas versus others. Now, I do have very warm skin. I'm very fair, but I also have super dark under eyes, but they're purple. So some people have varying degrees of darkness under their eyes, and it depends on what your skin tone is, what your whether it's a pink, a neutral, or a warm undertone. And warm undertones can be golden, they can be yellow, or they can be green. So it just depends on what your undertone is first before you start correcting. Now, I have two color correctors from Wet n Wild. One is in peach, one is in yellow. I did pick up the brightener from Maybelline Age Rewind. I've only used it on my skin twice. This was in my concealer video. This is very salmon. This is a peach corrector. I have a purple one. This is a pink. This is white, which I technically use to mix in with darker ones. And I've got three yellows. And this is actually what they call a concealer twin. So it's got light on one side and yellow on the other. So I'm going to start off and do my yellow ones first so that you can see them all in one like color arrangement on my skin. And if you look, I have like very warm, like I have these green looking spots on my arms, and that right there, if you look at the inside of your arm where your veining is, you can really tell what your undertone is just by looking at this, if you can't tell by looking at your face. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion one, and I'm just going to use my fingers on this instead of the actual cushion. Now with the cushion you would get a lot better coverage than this. And this is more of like I would say more like a butternut color yellow, a butternut squash colored yellow. It has hints of orange in it. And I'll do what I did in the other video and I'll lay them out in order. So there is the Wet n Wild one. Next, I'm going to be using the Essence one. This is in pastel yellow, I believe. Yeah, number 20 pastel yellow. This one I do mix with the NYX one. This is more like it is a very pastel yellow. But it's not quite as orange as the one from Wet n Wild. So there's that one. Then we have the NYX one. This is in CW10 or yellow. This one I mix with that when it's on my skin. And this one is definitely an orange yellow. And then the last yellow one that I have, this is from Physicians Formula. This is the Concealer Twins in light and yellow. And this is kind of like the happy medium between these two, and I really like using this one. This is what I usually use underneath my concealer, and it's also a nice thick consistency. I think these two layered up, it kind of makes the consistency that I want, which is this. And it's also, again, if you combine these two shades, you get that color. Now, in order, if you look at a color wheel, on a color wheel, you've got like green and red. Well, green and red counteract each other. So if you have red spots, you're going to use green to color correct. Same thing with yellow and purple. So I have some spots, especially on my forehead, that are very like yellowish looking, or sometimes I wake up and I look kind of jaundice. That's what I use the purple one for, and I actually think this is considered blue. Yeah, this one says blue. I have the other colors from this line, but I didn't care for the product. And this is kind of like a periwinkle color. So if I use this on a couple of spots, it's still growing. If I use this on my face, on some of the spots that I'm more yellow in than others, it does help neutralize the yellow in my skin, which is nice. Now on to peach correctors. Now most people use peach as a dark eye or under eye corrector. For people with warm undertones, peach doesn't really work that great. Some people even suggest using red. If you have green spots on your face, yeah, use red, but I wouldn't recommend it. And this is kind of like a light pastel peach. I definitely have things that are more peachy than this. But you figure peach and salmon are supposed to counteract darkness across the wheel from the skin. I'm trying to wipe my fingers off on my washcloth so I don't get stuff everywhere. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion, and this is in peach. And it even says on here for dark circles, whereas the yellow one says for brightening dullness, which, yeah, granted, they do work for both. Alright, now again, I'm going to be using this one. This is the brightener from Maybelline Age Rewind. And that one is like straight up salmon. And I don't care for it. It's too off for my skin color. The next, this is from Hard Candy. This is their peach. I believe it's just considered peach. It doesn't even say on here. It's just the peach color corrector. And I don't like how when you go to put this in, it gets all this stuff in the lid. And this is definitely a straight up peach. And it does have a locking mechanism on it, so if you want it to like turn on, you can turn it on, and there's like a little crack that you can see where you can close it. Then we have the one from BH Cosmetics, the Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer. This is in pink. This is also used to help with like dullness. And then lastly, we have white, which again you can use to mix in with other correctors or concealers. Hell, you can even use it to mix it in with your foundation to lighten it up. You can use it as an eyeshadow base. If you're cutting your crease out, you can use it for that. And then to line everything up on the counter. There you have everything. So we have the Wet n Wild. Let me get a brush here, that'll be easier. The Wet n Wild Mega Cushion in yellow. We have the light yellow or pastel yellow from the Essence Color Correcting Liquid. The NYX HD Studio Concealer, which is also a corrector, that's in yellow. The Physicians Formula Concealer Twins in yellow light. The Maybelline Master Camo, this is in blue or number 20. The Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Color Corrector in peach. The Maybelline Age Rewind in brightener. The Hard Candy Color Correct Cushion Wonder in peach. The BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer, this is pink, and then that one's white. And as you can see, as they've dried down on my skin, hopefully you could see my arm down here. As they've dried down on my skin, they're not you can actually see the kind of coverage that you're going to get from them, and you can see how light the coverage is for these yellows versus this one. I do like using this on days when I don't want to wear a whole lot of makeup. But these peach tones I don't really use much anymore unless I'm canceling out some of the darker brown tones that I have on my eyelids from veining popping through. I mainly just stick with the yellow, and then on the sides of my temples where I have a lot of yellow that pops up, I'll put a dab of blue if I'm really wanting to cancel out any discoloration on my skin. So there are all of my correctors that are in order so that you can see them all. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. I will be doing a video so that you can see how I apply correctors and what I do, and I'll use different products on each eye so you can see how I put it on, how I blend it out, that kind of stuff, but that will be another video. Again, I'm Rebecca Oberstadt. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to ask questions down below, and if you're not a subscriber and you want to be, then hit the subscribe button, and if you want to, share it. I'll see you guys in my next video.